Hi, I'm John Derry, and these are my top 5 Photoshop CS5 new painting features. I'm really excited about the new features in Photoshop CS5, particularly in the realm of painting. Adobe has done some really amazing things here with painting with natural media style brushes, and I'm going to go through and show you my top 5 painting features. I'm going to start off with the bristle tips, and I'm going to open up the brush panel here to show you that there are actually a set of new tips that you have access to, and let's just take a look at these. Now, what these will enable me to do beyond what you could do in the past is this tip. And let's open up this little preview so you can see what's going on here. This is a really great way to get an idea of how the brush is responding to your arm, hand, and wrist movement. When I press down, as you can see, I can actually press against my virtual surface. And in this case, I'm actually splaying my bristles out. And so right away, we've got a dynamic tip that changes based on the way it's being impressed or touched upon the canvas. And so this single brush all by itself has a wide range of expressive character in it. And that's something you just could not really get before in the previous iteration of the brush model within Photoshop. It's still there and it's still useful, but for natural media emulation, you're going to find that the new bristle tips really offer a great deal of expressibility, and that's what digital artists want. They want to be able to express themselves through the marks they make on their digital canvas, and this ability to be able to actually go in and have such a range within an individual brush tip opens up a whole new realm of possibilities. Now, there's all sorts of controls that you have here, as well as several different types of tips, and all of these together offer up a really wide range of potential in the kinds of marks you're going to be able to make. And a little bit later, I'll show you how you can really take advantage of these various tips and use them without having to constantly come in and play around with all of these various controls. So we've taken a look at bristle tips. What else can we add to this natural media recipe to improve upon Photoshop's capabilities for emulating natural media? Well, the second favorite I'm going to show you is the new mixer brush. And to get to that, we're going to go into the tool palette here, and I'm just going to click on the brush tool, and that pops up our flyout. And let's go to mixer brush. And now what this does is, at first glance, nothing. But if I go up and take a look at the property bar, you'll see we've got a whole new set of controls here. And the one I'm going to focus on right now is the wet brush. And you'll see what this does is it starts to let me blend and mix colors together, so that if I take another color here, my brush is imparting color, but it's also mixing at the same time. So I've got this ability to start to mix and blend colors in ways that I haven't been able to before. I'll turn up mix as well, and let's get another color. And you'll see that now I've really got a brush where I can start to actually mix different colors together in a way that just was not possible in Photoshop in the past. And so to be able to start to blend and mix in a style that's very reminiscent of traditional tools combined with the bristle tips starts to give us a really amazing simulation of natural media style tools. We'll just do a little kind of quick sketching here in an abstract style. I don't want to try to get too fancy at this point, but you can see how this brush, not only are the bristles dynamic and changing and offering a great deal of capability, but it's also enabling me to get a really cool range of tool look that I just could not get before. So the ability to take advantage of all of these various types of settings that are in here offer up a completely new way to be able to adjust your brushes and get some completely new looks that you haven't been able to get before. So the wet brush is a fantastic addition to Photoshop's arsenal of painting tools and capabilities. We've taken a look at a couple of features that really add natural media tendencies to Photoshop, but what else can be added that even will enhance that a bit more? Well, the next feature that's one of my favorites actually isn't a new feature, but it might as well be new because in concert with both the bristle tips and the wet brush, you've got a third kind of icing on the cake here that improves the recipe even more. And what is that feature? Well, it's texture. If I go ahead and enable texture here and work with a couple of textures that I've created, you'll see that now I've got a brush that has all of the characteristics we looked at before, but now it actually starts to be able to utilize texture in a way that really adds to the ability of the brush to look like natural media. Let's turn off the wetness right now, and you'll see here that I get this very nice textural element going on within my strokes, and that even takes this brush further into a natural media realm. So not only do we have all these other characteristics going on, but now the addition of texture as a characteristic even adds another bit of flavoring to our natural media recipe. So texture, while not new, acts in a whole new way when it's used in concert with the new features in the brush engine of Photoshop. For my fourth feature, I'm going to go to yet another tool that's been in Photoshop for a while. Now, why am I going back to these old features if I want to show you new features in Photoshop? Well, just like texture, this tool takes on a whole new significance when it's combined with the new painting features within Photoshop. And that new tool is Tool Presets. You can see up here in the right upper portion of my screen that I've got a whole bunch of preset brushes I've created. Now, there are brush presets. However, brush presets don't save all of the various aspects of a brush. They're just brush specific. The tool preset goes farther and actually saves additional information that you can't save in a brush preset, and that's why I like it. Now let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and close my brush panel for now. And what I want to do is just select a couple of these so you can see what I'm talking about. For example, if I select this flat angle brush, well, now I've instantly got a brush where all of these settings have been made available to me without having to stop and think about what bristle do I want. For example, which particular degree of wetness am I using? All of these things end up being something that I can actually go in and have ready, and I don't have to think in terms of brush creation. And that is very important when you're in the throes of creativity. You don't want to have to stop and switch to some left brain activity in order to be thinking about, how do I do this particular brush? I like to have all of my brushes ready and laid out, and that's exactly what's happening in the tool preset panel for me. So all of the things that go on in the brush panel itself, as well as what's going on up in the property bar of the mixer brush, everything's saved, even to the point of textures are being saved. And that's why I like these. For example, now here's another one. It's just, instead of having to think about it, I can instantly go to a brush that runs out of paint very quickly. If I didn't have this, I'd have to stop and think, how do I get that particular behavior on my brush? And tool presets are a godsend to us digital artists who want to have a variety of tools available and yet not have to be thinking in terms of brush creation. So my fourth favorite is an oldie but a goodie, tool presets. With my first top four features, I've shown you how the new mixer brush and the bristle tips, along with some other features, can be combined to create really great brushes for creating art from scratch. But what if you're not an artist? What if you say, well, what's in this for me? I don't want to sit and try to create something from a blank canvas. And that's where feature number 5 comes in. And what I'm going to show you now, and I'm going to switch to a different image here because we want to talk about how to use this in a photograph. And let's turn this off so we don't have it bothering us. I'm going to show you my 5th favorite feature, and that is sample all layers. It's right up here in the property bar of the mixer brush. Now I'm going to turn that on, and I'm also going to create a new layer. And now by going and selecting one of my brushes that doesn't apply paint but only mixes paint that it finds underneath of it, I can go in here and I can start to mix the colors underneath my image, and I can switch from one brush to another here, so that if I want to get another favorite of mine right here is the fan blender, and I'm going to reduce size, and I'm using the same old keyboard shortcut, the bracket keys for that. Now I'm treating this underlying photograph as if it were wet oil paint that just happens to be configured in a photographic form. But it's exactly like taking a brush that doesn't have any paint on it and using it to move and manipulate that wet paint underneath of it. And the cool thing about this approach to doing this is the fact that this is all happening on a layer. We're not affecting the underlying image at all. And this is what I refer to as non-destructive layer painting. This allows me to have a safety net so that I can feel free to try out these various types of brushes on my image. I don't have to worry about what colors do I mix, where do they come from. I don't have to worry about composition. All of that's been taken care of for me in the photograph. So if you're a photographer, you've already got those skills, and if you've got access to photographs, well then you've got all of your wet oil paint arranged for you in a format that allows you to take this brush and go in and start to change the character of the underlying image. So this is my 5th feature, and I really think this is a real stunner, because all of a sudden Photoshop now not only has natural media tendencies and the ability to create brush strokes that are from natural media, as well as utilize color to apply those strokes, but you can also use it as a color manipulating device. I'm now using all of the resources of the underlying photograph in this case to be able to create a new piece of artwork based on the photograph. And I don't want to finish without showing you that I can still go in here and take a normal brush, which right now is painting with that color. I'll undo, and I can use the Option key to go ahead and pick up some color. Let's just try this area here that hasn't been painted over, and now my brush is literally filled with that color on the tip of the brush. So now I can go in and do a brush loaded technique, and I can either decide to just blend colors, or I can go around and I can pick up colors. So the whole package is here. You've got natural media brushes. You've got the ability to alter these brushes in a myriad of ways to get a wide range of expressive, capable marks on your canvas. And you can take these same brushes and interact with existing imagery to create entirely new artworks. So there you have it. Photoshop CS5 is a painter's dream, and I think the world is going to be extremely excited once they get these tools into their hands. So I hope you'll be doing some really cool stuff and be showing it online. Good luck.